Alright everybody, Professor Addington here, literally skipping parent pickup duty and coming to you live premiere video, divisional round picks for the NFL season. This is like the best weekend in professional sports, one of the best weekends in professional sports all year long. Divisional rounds, the National Football League. And I'm going to go through, I'm going to give you my picks, I'm going to give you scores, and I'm also going to go through, just like last week, and do the who wins not only the divisional rounds, but what would happen hypothetically if all those teams won, who would win the conference championships and the Super Bowl. Okay, but I'll start with, it's kind of a fun thing that I like to do, talking about the possible Super Bowl rematches that are remaining still on the table that we could have, and we have 5 that are still possibilities. So the first one is the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl 48. This is a complete blowout. Malcolm Smith, most valuable player, Legion of Doom. So we have that one. These are the 2 number 1 seeds. If the 2 number 1 seeds meet, they will have a rematch of that Super Bowl. And then the second one is the Broncos and the 49ers, probably the least likely of this because the 49ers have the least chance to win this week and going forward. But we would have Broncos 49ers rematch of 24 back in January 1990. Joe Montana leading the 49ers to a 55-10 victory. And then I know Jackass Jay loves hearing about that one again. Third one is one that Bear Scott and UConn are going to like. And this one is the New England Patriots versus the Chicago Bears. Well, wouldn't this be a story? This was Super Bowl 20. This would be the 40th anniversary of that Super Bowl. If those 2 teams met this year, that would be something really incredible to have those 2 teams meet and have the 40th anniversary and have, rest in peace, Steve McMichael, have some of the old greats come out. I think even Raymond Berry's still alive, former Patriots coach that year. And that would be something really cool to see happen. And then we have Patriots, Seahawks, Super Bowl 49, arguably the greatest Super Bowl of all time. The Malcolm Butler interception at the goal line for Tom Brady, most valuable player. So we can have that. And then finally, we have the Patriots Rams. This will be the 3rd Super Bowl meeting between those 2 teams. It's Super Bowl 36, the big upset over the greatest show on turf. Patriots won. And then we had Super Bowl 53, one of the lowest scoring Super Bowls of all time. Julian Edelman, most valuable player, over Jared Goff's Rams. Okay, so those are the possibilities for Super Bowls right there. And so these were the winners of those games right here. And both times, of course, in this one, Patriots won. So those are the possibilities. We could have a completely new one, and we'll see. Now let's get to the picks. All right, guys. I also want to just thank you for tuning into the Frank Addington channel for this premiere. And we have the 4 games this week. It's going to be incredible. Starting off Saturday. But before I get to them, let me just say, you saw my picks last week. 6 games. And it was really bad. 2 and 4. And in light of that, I have to say, to UConn, congratulations. Incredible job with your picks. You had the picture of your picks for the wild card games. 6 for 6, stellar job, incredible. I hope you do your picks for the division rounds. Keep the perfection going. Great job. All right, so we have the first game. I'm going to go in order of the games when they take place. So the first one is the Buffalo Bills. So we have the Saturday. We have the 2. Both these games are 1 seed and 6 seed. Okay, so the first one is the 6th seed Buffalo Bills and the 1 seed Denver Broncos. And this one's going to be a Saturday, 4:30 p.m. on CBS. That's 2:30 p.m. Denver time, Mountain Time. And so this game and these percentages are the distribution pick percentages on Pips Pick'ems in the 51, 49, and it's the most dead even one. This is probably going to be the closest game to pick, hardest game to decide on who to pick. Really no team that's a clear favorite, but it looks like the Bills are a slight favorite going into this game, like 1 point. Keeps switching, keeps changing. The Vance Joseph, defensive coordinator for the Broncos, he's really good. He's going to have some, he's going to tighten up those rushing lanes, I believe. And the Bo Nix's ability to scramble is going to be an X factor in this game against that kind of weak Bills defense. One good thing for the Bills, this as far as injuries, is they have, looks like Joey Bosa might be coming back for this game, and also Curtis Samuel, one of their wide receivers, a little speed on the outside, is coming back. He could be an X factor too, so look for Curtis Samuel in this game. Great environment, I think. Denver, this is like, people don't really talk about how hard this place is to play at if you're an opponent, but going on the road in Denver, playoff atmosphere, it's going to be great. And I love the AFL, these two teams. Just great to see those AFL colors. Great history there. These two teams met back in January 1992 in the AFC title game, where the Bills edged them out for their second consecutive AFC title, beating John Elway's Broncos. I think it was like 10-7 was the final score. Carlton Bailey, an unsung linebacker, gets a touchdown, like an interception. There was a difference. So, and then of course they played last year. These two teams, Bills won easily. It's not going to be like this. Not going to be like that this time. That game was in Buffalo, of course. But this game in Denver, not much respect for the Broncos. People are saying they're like one of the worst 1 seeds of all time. This is the first time a 1 seed has been the underdog at home in the divisional round since the Eagles back in 2017 with Nick Foles. And so this one, you got the one thing I like about the Bills is the offensive tackles for the Bills have been they've been through the wars. I think they're going to be really good in this game. They've been through playoff games, and I also like those 3 tight ends for the Bills. I think they're going to have some openings downfield because there's no like great receiver on this team, and Vance Joseph's going to have that man press against Buffalo. Josh Allen is the greatest singular force left in the playoffs, and he reminds me of a player from 10 years ago. This time, Cam Newton of the Panthers was carrying the Panthers. It was an absolute one-man Superman show. I would say that Panthers team's a little more talented than this Bills team. Pretty close though, but very similar players, I think. The watch for the Bills. The Bills defense gave up like 7 yards a carry against the Jaguars. Not too good. So if you're Denver, go with that ball control, get that running game going, and including Bo Nix's scrambling ability. And I think that's going to be the big difference in this game is the Broncos figuring out a way to get that running game going, salt the clock away in the 4th quarter. It's a close call, but I'm going to go with the Broncos to win this game, and I'm going to go with kind of the cop-out score of 24-21. Okay, so Broncos win and hold serve on their home field. All right, and then we'll get to the next game, which is the Saturday night game. Okay, so we're going to be hanging out that night watching watching the Niners, Big J, and the Seahawks. This is, of course, another 6-1, and so this is going to be one where we've got, of course, the third matchup. It was 1-1, and the Niners defense. The one thing that they have been able to do well is not allow the big play. Kind of hold teams to field goals, and because of this, I think Sam Darnold of the Seahawks, my lookalike, is going to need to take those intermediate passes and have some success there, and get that running game going. The Seahawks have ran the ball well in Week 18. That game against the 49ers. And 49ers, I said this last week, they have one of the worst run defenses historically in playoff football. It's going to hurt them this week, I believe. And, just a recipe for success for the Seahawks. And you factor in that George Brittle injury, and this is definitely the easiest game to pick of the week. I mean, you can see it, 83% picking Seattle, 17 49ers. 49ers will have a game plan, but I just believe that that the Seahawks' great front four, that defense forces you to run the ball a lot on first down, and because of how successful they are, like with the safeties on second downs, speed defense. They have those too high looks on the safeties on the early downs. They pursue the ball so well, and that does not add up to explosive plays for the 49ers. 49ers like to get out to the perimeter, and the Seahawks have the speed to close that up and to have the angles, and they're going to try to force the Niners to kind of go inside. Just that great front four. It's going to be a real tough one for even Robert Sala's defense to deal with as well, and it's going to be tough for the 49ers. I think a lot of people would like to see them continue and win. Not going to happen. Got the Seahawks winning this game by a score of 31-20. Now let's switch to so I got both ones, Holden Surf, and winning their divisional round games to set up hosting the conference championship games. So we have Sunday. The first Sunday game is 3 o'clock, and this one's going to be on. It's 3 o'clock Swift Fox Bozo time, and it's going to be that's going to be Bozo time. Okay, 3 o'clock ABC or ESPN if you wear a garter belt. And we have so the Sunday games are the 5 and 2s. Right? So we got the 6-1 Saturday and the 5-2s on Sunday. The first one is the Houston Texans, and they going to Fox Bozo to play the Patriots. This is a matchup before the playoffs started that I was anticipating. I was kind of focusing on. I was looking at and said this would be an interesting matchup because of the great pass rush of the Texans and the fact that it's great of an MVP type of year that Drake May has had. He is, one weakness of him is that he does take sacks, and he took 5 last week and still managed to win. And I think he's going to take maybe that many this week, maybe more, against that great pass rush. This is a great opportunity for Woody Marks, the running back, who had a kind of surprise performance last week, or Monday night against Pittsburgh. The rookie running back, Woody Marks. And, you look at the Patriots' run defense, they've given up 141 yards on the ground on average from weeks 10 to weeks 18. Now one good thing is they are getting some players back on that defense, like the defensive line, that should help that a little bit more. And a couple of injury notes. Nico Collins, that's a big loss for the Texans offense, but it might be negated a little bit because the Patriots are out. Might be without Christian Gonzalez with the concussion, so watch for that as well. Houston, 10 wins in a row. Okay, they won 10 straight, and to win this game in Foxborough against a team that is kind of one against a weaker schedule, right? They beat a really injured Chargers team last week. This is their chance to really make a statement that they're truly one of the elite teams in the NFL. They get back to that AFC Championship game. For Houston, it's going to take an elite defensive performance for them, which they can do. And it's going to take a very clean game, not a great game, from C.J. Stroud in this one. And just that difference is going to be that I just love that defensive line. I love how defense travels in the playoffs. That defensive line for the Texans. Drake May taking those sacks. I like the Houston Texans to arrive at their first ever AFC Championship game next week, next Sunday. Only team in the NFL who has not been to a conference championship that comes to an end with a win Saturday night or Sunday afternoon. And a close one, 17-16. All right, so there's a 5 win in there. And then let's go to the Sunday night game, which this is the one, guys. We've been all the Bears fans. We got UConn, we got Bear Scott Stadium as the backdrop. We got a lot of these bandwagoner fans that were going nuts last week. The Packers choke job. We got a real feel Sunday night, 4 degrees, maybe like 2 like maybe negatives with the wind chill. I love it. It's going to be great. A little fun fact here about this game. Sunday night, 6:30, NBC. Got Tirico to Collinsworth on the call. It's 5:30 Central Time, Bear Scott time. Scotty. All right, so a little fun fact was that Ben Johnson, this is two of the great offensive minds going head to head, so that's really cool. McVay and Johnson. And Johnson was actually a assistant in Detroit back when Stafford was still in Detroit. So you might know a little more about Stafford than just the film. You might know some of his tendencies, so keep that in the back of your mind. And again, we got as far as the quarterbacks, we got 2 number 1 overall picks, Caleb Williams from 2024, and Matthew Stafford back in 2009. 1 versus 1. This is Caleb Williams' moment to really say he's one of the great QBs, future QBs here. If he can get this win, we have one of the big things for the Rams here is the right guard Dotson is returning to the offensive line. Now, this is like going over the heads of the fantasy people here, but that is a big difference for their running game. That's what I'm told. That it makes a big difference when he's in there. I'll believe it when I see it with the Rams. I believe in the Bears running game a lot more than I do the Rams running game. They're real soft. So I really like those 2 running backs and that rookie. I think they're going to be really good in this game. I like what the weather plays into what the Bears want to do this game. And Paper Tigers, the LA Paper Tigers, this is not suited. This kind of weather is not suited for Paper Tigers. Paper Tigers like the warm weather. Stafford played in the comfy dome. Detroit played in comfy Los Angeles. This is not good for him. Okay. Last last year. It was cold in Philadelphia. Big difference. They lost that game. Rams Eagles had been in a neutral site. I think the Rams win that game because it was in cold Philly. They wilted like the paper tigers they are. And the paper tigers have a difficult time against the Bears. Even though the Bears are on a great defense, but you got the two like pretty boy Chris Shula and Sean McVay with the pretty boy tans and the cropped haircuts in that freezing weather. It's not gonna work there. This is not LA, all right. And so in this game, Bears got UConn. You're gonna like me for once. Another picking against your boys. I'm going with Chicago Bears to win at home. Get to the NFC title game, and they're gonna win this game. With a 26-21 score, boys. All right, those are my picks. Both ones, 5 wins, and then the Bears win. Okay. Now keep this in mind. With my picks, we have the 2 ones hosting the conference championship games. There's still a chance that the 5s can host the NFC championship game. I can definitely see the Texans hosting against the Bills the AFC championship game. So that's still alive, and that's another little fun fact. We've never had a 5, 6, or 7 seed. 7 can't do it, but we never had a 5 or 6 seed host a conference championship game. It seems like that would have happened luck by now, but it hasn't. The lowest seed to host was 4 seed, the 2008 Eagles against the Cardinals. So I'm kind of surprised that that's never happened before. Is this the year we get a 5 seed hosting a conference championship game? It could be. All right, so I got Broncos, Seahawks, Texans, Bears. So those are the scores. And then let's keep it going and see what happens under the scenario of this being correct. What would happen after? All right, so if Professor Addington is correct, we would have AFC Championship game Texans at Broncos, the 5 at the 1. And with this one, I would go with Houston Texans at pass rush to win the game and get to the Super Bowl 60. First ever Super Bowl appearance. And then we would have the NFC Bears, number 2 seed, in Seattle, taking on the Seahawks. I will go with the Seahawks here. So we would have a little bit of a nightmare scenario for the network hosting. I don't even know who's doing the Super Bowl this year. I'm a nightmare. Houston at Seattle. Not a marquee team that are cities, quarterbacks, but that's what I got, and I would go with Texans. Roll it out. Get it done. So that's how it is for now. And these are the picks. Just do one more little fun thing. All right, boys. For the divisional round weekend, what are you going to do? Let me know right here. What should I do? I'm thinking this one right here. It's going to be Sunday night game. The Bears and the Rams. Well, which one should I do for Saturday? I don't know. Maybe not this if I'm doing this. But what would you do? Spell it right first, right? What would you lean towards? Johnny's Food or what? What are you doing? Make your pick right here for which should I do Saturday night, and then let me know what you want to do. And then UConn, make sure you give me those picks. You give everybody those picks for your divisional round picks, and the rest of you make your picks as well. Speaking of picks, Hips Pick'ems. Currently, we have Andy 80-10, 13-point favorite, or 13-point lead in Hips Pick'ems. Number one. We also have Coach Nelly tied for third, so he's still in there. Huge weekend of points. We have 3 games that are pretty difficult to pick. I showed you the percentages earlier. We got the 50-50 basically, Bills, Broncos, and then we got there are 2 games that are 68-32. That's the Rams, Bears, and the Texans, Patriots. And I think both those games should be closer than that. It should be more like 60-40. All right, so make your picks there, and let's hope that Andy or No Hit is number one going into the championship games. And also want to say thank you for watching this premiere video, divisional round picks, General Peters, right here on the Frank Addington channel. It's great to come to you tonight, Thursday night. Yeah. All right, and remember one more thing. Sammy loves friendly zebras, and hopefully those zebras will be timed with their penalty flags in all the games. We won't have ugly games with a lot of flags, and the zebras will let them play. Maybe Sammy Darnold loves friendly zebras, throwing some flags for roughing the passer and that sort of thing. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.